Hey Spurs fans, welcome back to another update on our San Antonio Spurs. Before we jump into today's breaking news, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. And here's something special for you. Everyone who subscribes and leave a comment with their name and the city they're watching from will automatically be entered into our giveaway to win an official San Antonio Spurs jersey. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment your name and city below. Stay tuned, because the next Spurs fan wearing the jersey could be you. The rematch in Houston sets up a clean window for Victor Wembanyama to dominate the glass. Exactly where this game tilts. San Antonio arrives on short rest, and that matters. Tired legs depress shooting percentages, inflate defensive rebound opportunities, and funnel volume toward the tallest player on the floor. When the market drops his rebounding line to 8.5, invites a measured strike. Houston's defense is disciplined at home, holding opponents to mid-40s shooting and forcing longer possessions. That profile, fewer clean finishes, more contested attempts, creates extra caroms. San Antonio's road shooting dips several points from its home mark, and on the second night of a back-to-back, that gap widens. Misses become chances, and chances become boards for a 7'4" anchor with elite reach and timing. Recent form supports the angle without relying on ceiling outcomes. Wembanyama has posted 9, 10, and 10 rebounds across the latest streak, all under a double-digit total that previously sat at 10.5. The key is opportunity. Even with a slight downtick in rebounding chances during hot shooting stretches, his conversion rate remains strong. Against a sturdier defense and lower team efficiency, those chances rebound, pun intended. Houston's personnel shifts matter. Steven Adams is unavailable, and Tari Eason's status is uncertain. Removing a high-motor rebounder and a physical center reduces box-out resistance and second-jump contests. In the prior meeting, Wembanyama logged 8 boards on 14 opportunities. Tonight's context is friendlier, with fewer elite rebounders to dislodge him and more contested looks to harvest. Projections cluster between 9 and 12 rebounds, with a median near 10. Translate that into pricing. An 8.5 over should sit closer to a steeper favorite than the current tag. The gap between fair odds and posted odds is the edge, small but real, especially in a game environment that amplifies variance in missed shots and defensive positioning. Game texture points to a slower tempo. Houston prefers deliberate half-court sets, and San Antonio's offense bogs down away from home. Fewer possessions do not kill the play when shot quality drops and defensive stops extend sequences. Long rebounds and tip-outs still favor length, and Wembanyama's wingspan turns 50-50 balls into 60-40 wins. Correlated angles deserve attention. If Wembanyama seals the paint, Houston's guards will see more kickouts and rhythm threes. Jalen Green's volume from deep rises when drives collapse the defense, and Fred VanVleet's catch-and-shoot profile fits a game with heavy paint touches and secondary creation. Pairing a modest three-point over with a rebounding prop aligns with how this matchup should breathe. Totals lean under when defense tightens and pace drags. Houston's home metrics suggest fewer clean looks, and San Antonio's road splits reinforce that. An under in the low 200s tracks with the expected shot diet, contested mid-range, late clock threes, and limited transition bursts. It's not a blanket fade. It's a nod to environment and fatigue. The spread sits within a possession or two, reflecting Houston's consistency and San Antonio's recent surge. On balance, the home side's defensive reliability and the visitor's schedule spot tilt the number toward the hosts. If you build a same-game parlay, anchor it with Wembanyama's rebounds, a conservative three-point leg for a Houston guard, and the under. Each piece tells the same story. Bankroll discipline matters more than conviction. Price sensitivity is your friend. The rebounding over retains value into steeper territory, but once it climbs beyond a fair threshold, the edge thins. Shop for the best number, avoid chasing steam, and accept that variance in foul trouble or blowout risk can dent otherwise sound positions. One question to keep you engaged. If San Antonio's early shooting craters, Do you expect Houston to adjust by sending extra bodies to the glass or by prioritizing leakouts? Either choice benefits the rebounding angle. More contests mean more tips, and fewer leakouts mean more bodies near the rim. If you prefer a cleaner card, isolate the prop and skip the parlay. The thesis is straightforward. A towering rebounder in a low-efficiency road spot against a disciplined defense with diminished frontcourt resistance. That's the kind of setup you wait for rather than force. For a structured build, consider this aligned trio. Wembanyama over 8.5 rebounds, Jalen Green over 2.5 made threes, and under 219.5. Each leg complements the others. Paint control fuels kickouts, and defensive intensity suppresses overall scoring. As for the side, a modest lean toward Houston by a few points fits the profile. The Rockets' half-court defense, home comfort, and San Antonio's schedule spot combine to edge the number their way without requiring a blowout script. Bottom line, trust the rebounding window. The market adjustment to 8.5 is generous given the matchup, the fatigue factor, and the personnel context. Take the over, price shop with intent, and let the game shape work for you. Before we go on, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Your support keeps our Spurs coverage strong and brings you the latest updates straight from San Antonio. And jump into the comments. Tell us what you think about today's news. The news broke with the force of a thunderclap, sending shockwaves across the basketball world and leaving fans scrambling for answers. The San Antonio Spurs, a franchise steeped in tradition and resilience, confirmed a devastating development that has shaken the NBA to its core. What was supposed to be a season of promise, anchored by the towering brilliance of Victor Wembanyama, has now been overshadowed by uncertainty and raw emotion. Inside the Spurs locker room, the atmosphere is a mix of disbelief and determination. Players who had rallied around their young superstar now face the daunting task of recalibrating their ambitions. Coaches, executives, and fans alike are grappling with the magnitude of the announcement, which has transformed the narrative of the season overnight. The NBA community, known for its rapid reactions and passionate discourse, erupted instantly. Analysts debated the implications, rival teams recalculated their strategies, and supporters flooded social media with messages of shock and solidarity. The league thrives on drama, but this particular twist feels heavier, more consequential, and deeply personal for those invested in San Antonio's journey. Victor Wembanyama, the centerpiece of the Spurs' resurgence, had become more than just a player. He was a symbol of hope, a generational talent whose presence promised to restore the franchise to its former glory. His dominance on both ends of the floor had already earned him accolades, including his first All-Star start, and his trajectory seemed unstoppable. Now, with the confirmation of this devastating news, questions loom large. How will the Spurs adapt? Can they maintain momentum in a fiercely competitive Western Conference? And perhaps most pressing, what does this mean for Wembanyama's long-term legacy? These are not just tactical concerns. They are existential ones for a team and city that had pinned its future on his shoulders. The Spurs organization responded with a mixture of candor and resolve. Statements from team officials emphasized both the gravity of the situation and their unwavering commitment to supporting Wembanyama. They acknowledged the emotional toll, but insisted that the franchise's culture of resilience would guide them through the storm. Fans in San Antonio, renowned for their loyalty, reacted with a blend of heartbreak and defiance. Many recalled past eras when the team overcame adversity, from injuries to roster upheavals, and emerged stronger. The current crisis, however, feels uniquely painful, given the promise Wembanyama embodied and the excitement surrounding his meteoric rise. Across the league, rival players and coaches expressed empathy. The NBA is a competitive arena, but it is also a fraternity, and the loss of a star resonates beyond team boundaries. Messages of support poured in, underscoring the respect Wembanyama commands and the recognition of his impact on the game. The timing of the announcement adds to the drama. With the All-Star game approaching and the Spurs positioned near the top of the conference, the news disrupts not only San Antonio's trajectory, but also the broader narrative of the season. What was shaping up to be a showcase of Wembanyama's brilliance now carries a shadow of what might have been. For the Spurs coaching staff, the challenge is immense. They must reconfigure rotations, adjust strategies, and instill confidence in a roster suddenly deprived of its anchor. The task is not merely technical. It is psychological, requiring leaders to steady a shaken group and inspire belief in the face of adversity. Wembanyama himself has become the focal point of speculation. His resilience, competitive fire, and refusal to be defined by setbacks are well documented. Yet even the strongest athletes face moments of vulnerability, and the coming weeks will test his resolve in ways few could have imagined. The NBA, ever a theater of narratives, now finds itself with a storyline that transcends statistics and standings. This is about human resilience, the fragility of promise, and the collective response to unexpected loss. It is a reminder that even the brightest stars are not immune to the unpredictability of sport. San Antonio's history offers perspective. The franchise has weathered storms before, from injuries to legends like Tim Duncan and Tony Parker to the departure of Kawhi Leonard. Each time, the Spurs leaned on their culture, their system, and their unwavering belief in team over individual. That ethos will be tested once again. The city itself has rallied. Local media, community leaders, and fans have voiced support, turning heartbreak into solidarity. San Antonio has always embraced its team as more than entertainment. It is a source of identity and pride. In moments of crisis, that bond only deepens. League executives are watching closely. The Spurs' ability to navigate this challenge will influence not only their season, but also broader dynamics, from playoff seeding to all-star narratives. The ripple effects extend far beyond San Antonio, touching every corner of the NBA ecosystem. For younger players on the roster, the moment is both daunting and opportunistic. They must step into larger roles, prove their mettle, and carry the torch in Wembanyama's absence. Development accelerates under pressure, and the Spurs' future may hinge on how these emerging talents respond. The fans, though devastated, remain hopeful. They know that adversity often forges greatness, and they cling to the belief that Wembanyama's story is far from over. The pain of the present is tempered by the promise of resilience, a narrative that has defined the Spurs for decades. As the league prepares for all-star festivities, the absence of Wembanyama looms large. What was meant to be a celebration of his arrival as a global superstar now becomes a poignant reminder of the fragility of success. The spotlight will still shine, but the void will be felt. Ultimately, this moment is about more than basketball. It is about the human capacity to endure, to adapt, and to rise again. The Spurs, their fans, and the NBA at large are united in shock, but also in anticipation of the comeback story that may yet unfold. The headline may scream devastation, but beneath it lies a deeper truth. The spirit of San Antonio, embodied by Wembanyama and his teammates, is not easily broken. The NBA is in shock, yes, but it is also watching closely, knowing that from heartbreak often emerges history. The reverberations of the Spurs' announcement have not been confined to San Antonio alone. The entire NBA landscape has been jolted. Broadcasters and analysts immediately shifted their programming to dissect the implications, with primetime shows dedicating extended segments to the fallout. The narrative of the season, once centered on Wembanyama's rise, has now been reframed around how the league adjusts to his absence and what this means for the balance of power in the Western Conference. In cities across the United States, fans gathered in bars, gyms, and living rooms to debate the news. For many, the shock was visceral, as Wembanyama had become a symbol of the NBA's future. His unique blend of size, skill, and charisma had drawn in casual viewers and international audiences alike. The sudden disruption of his trajectory has left supporters grappling with disappointment, while rivals cautiously acknowledge that the competitive landscape has shifted in their favor. Media outlets worldwide have amplified the story, recognizing Wembanyama's global appeal. Headlines in Europe, Asia, and South America emphasize not only the impact on the Spurs, but also the broader consequences for the sport. International fans, who had embraced him as a transcendent figure, expressed both sorrow and solidarity, underscoring how his influence extends far beyond the borders of Texas or even the United States. Sponsors and corporate partners have also felt the tremors. Wembanyama's marketability was soaring, with endorsements and promotional campaigns built around his image. The confirmation of devastating news has forced brands to reconsider strategies, balancing sensitivity with the need to maintain momentum. For the NBA, which relies heavily on star power to drive engagement, the situation presents both a challenge and an opportunity to showcase resilience. Within the Spurs organization, the ripple effect has been profound. Younger players now face heightened expectations, as the team must fill the void left by its centerpiece. Coaches are tasked with fostering confidence and cohesion, while executives weigh long-term decisions about roster construction. The announcement has accelerated conversations about identity, leadership, and the future direction of the franchise. Rival teams, meanwhile, are recalibrating their strategies. The absence of Wembanyama alters matchups, defensive schemes, and playoff projections. Coaches across the league are rethinking how to approach games against San Antonio, recognizing that the Spurs' strengths and weaknesses have shifted dramatically. The ripple effect extends to postseason scenarios, where the balance of power may tilt in unexpected directions. The emotional resonance of the news has been particularly strong among former Spurs legends. Alumni who once carried the franchise to glory have voiced their support, drawing parallels to past challenges and emphasizing the importance of resilience. Their words carry weight, reminding fans that adversity has always been part of the Spurs story and that recovery, though difficult, is possible. Social media has become a battleground of emotions, with hashtags trending globally as fans, players, and commentators share reactions. Memes, tributes, and heartfelt messages flood timelines, reflecting the multifaceted ways in which the news has been processed. The digital conversation underscores the modern reality of sports. Moments of triumph and tragedy alike are amplified instantly, shaping perception in real time. The league office has also weighed in, acknowledging the gravity of the situation and expressing solidarity with San Antonio. Officials recognize that the NBA's brand is intertwined with its stars, and Wembanyama's absence is a blow to the spectacle of the season. At the same time, they emphasize the depth of talent across the league, framing the moment as an opportunity for other players to step into the spotlight. Ultimately, the repercussion of the Spurs' devastating confirmation is not just about one player or one team. It is about the collective experience of a league, its fans, and its stakeholders confronting the fragility of promise. The shock has united communities in empathy, sparked debates about resilience, and reminded everyone that the NBA, for all its glamour and spectacle, remains a human endeavor defined by unpredictability. That's it for today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of every exclusive San Antonio Spurs news drop, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And don't forget, your opinion matters to Spurs Nation. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.